Hi guys, it's Antonio, and I'm in LA for VidCon this week, and today I'm here with Helena Hart, who many of you probably know has a great and growing YouTube channel. She's become a good friend of mine over the past few weeks, and we even did a live stream a few weeks ago, but I love her content, and I asked her if we could do some videos together, so this is the very first one, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, thank you so much for coming to visit. I'm really excited too.
So one of my favorite videos on Helena's channel is the tips that she gives on how to bring a man closer to you using your feminine energy. So I thought it'd be a great topic to introduce my audience to as well. And so she agreed to do that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to visit. Yes, this is one of my favorite things to talk about, and I'm really excited to share this message with your community.
So we often talk about it in my videos, situations where a woman will be dating a man for some time and, things are going well. In the beginning, he is totally into her. He's calling her, texting her, good morning. They communicate throughout the day. He's planning dates. They're going on these amazing dates. And then at some point, he starts to get a little bit more distant and he's not doing the things that he used to do. He isn't showing her how much he cares about her. He isn't putting more effort into the relationship. He's just kind of backing off a little bit, or it's like somehow like he doesn't care. So I know that in your videos, you talk about how a woman can use her feminine energy to bring him closer. So I would love to hear.
Yeah, it's such a common situation. Probably the number one situation that women come to me with, and they find my videos on YouTube because maybe a man came on strong for a little while. He was pursuing her and acting really interested, but then after a few months in, or this happens in long-term relationships too, he can start to back off or withdraw or maybe act a little distant or pull away. And of course, I've been there myself. We all have as women, right? And so I know how painful it can be. And what I've really found working with so many women over the years is our instincts to lean forward and try to get that man back or reconnect the relationship often just push him further and further away. So I love to give women a whole new way of going about this that really works, and it also just feels better because it's in alignment with our nature as women, as the feminine energy partner.
So that makes so much sense to me, because when I think of something, if I'm in a situation with someone and I feel them slipping away or changing, my first instinct, I think anyone's instinct, would be to reach out and try to fix that, right? We want to fix the situation that we think is broken or might be breaking, or they're pulling away. You want to figure out how to resolve that. And I think that oftentimes we put more energy into the relationship. We try harder because we want that to turn back to the way it was. So what do you suggest doing differently?
Yeah, so the first tip I have to share on bringing a man closer, especially if he's pulling away or acting distant right now, is shifting your mindset. I've really found that if you're looking for advice on how to attract or re-attract the man you want, especially if things aren't going the way you want them to in your relationship or potential relationship, you've likely put this man on a pedestal in your mind in some way. And we, as women, we can do this without realizing it, right? And we kind of make the man the goal or the prize in our minds, if that makes sense. And when we do that, we can't really help it. We tend to want to go after him or win his love or prove to him what a great catch we are or show him our value. And when we do that, we're actually in our masculine energy. There's this urge to show him how great the two of us would be together. That's when we get extra nice and sweet and understanding. And right, have you experienced this?
For sure.
Yeah, we've all been there. So the first step is shifting your mindset, taking that man off the pedestal, if you've put him there, and drop the whole idea of this man as the goal or the prize in this situation.
So I know in a lot of my videos, when we talk about when a man pulls away, I think that I talk about doing some things that are similar to that. But can you tell me more? What does it mean when you say change your mindset?
That's such a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. Yeah, you really want to start seeing yourself as the prize, as the feminine energy partner, not in an egotistical way where you're better than the man, but just in a really confident way where you know your value deep down. A woman who's truly confident and knows her worth and knows her value as a woman and as a potential relationship partner wouldn't put a man on a pedestal and subtly try to chase after him like that, right? If a man was acting distant or pulling away, a woman who was totally self-assured and knew her value would likely anchor herself right where she is rather than leaning forward and, scrambling to try to get that man back.
Yeah, I totally agree with her. And, I think that as a man, if the woman has made you like the goal, like you're her prize, like she's trying to win you over, you can kind of feel that. And then all of a sudden it changes the whole dynamic, because men, for the most part, are the ones that are the hunters and chasers. So if we look at it from an evolutionary perspective, men are the ones that are the pursuers. It's a traditional thing. It's a cultural thing. Talking to my parents about dating and how they dated, or they dated with a chaperone in Italy, but it would never be thought of a woman chasing a man. It was always the man trying to win her affection, and not only from her, but he had to get the approval of her parents and her family, and everybody had to come together as a community almost and say, yeah, we accept this guy. Yeah. Kind of a different dynamic for sure. So I totally agree with that. I love that. Shifting your mindset and remembering that you're the prize, for sure. What's the second tip?
The second thing I have to say on how to bring a man closer using your feminine energy is stop trying to make something happen constantly with this man or in your relationship. So like I mentioned in the first secret, if you've put a man on a pedestal, what we tend to do as women is try to go after him or win him over by doing a bunch of things. And that puts you in your masculine energy. So what does that look like in real life? That looks like always being the one to initiate contact with the man, making it really easy for him, always being the one to drive to him and plan everything and schedule the dates and pay for everything all the time. Anything that looks like leaning forward, for everyone watching, when you're physically or mentally or emotionally leaning forward, you're in your masculine energy. When you're leaning back, you're in your feminine energy. So that's kind of a physical demonstration of how this energy exchange works. Next time you're with a man, everyone can try this. Try physically leaning back in your chair, or if you're sitting with him. So if you're leaning back into your feminine energy, if he's a masculine energy man and he's interested in you and truly the right man for you, he will instinctively feel compelled to come towards you. Right? So in those situations where a man's acting a little distant or pulling away, I totally understand the tendency to want to blow up his phone and over text him and call him up and ask him what's going on. And if you're coming from a place of anxiety or insecurity when you're doing that, I always recommend that women just stop doing all of those things just for right now, just to kind of shift the energy dynamic a little bit.
So the third tip. What's the third tip?
The third tip on how to bring a man closer using your feminine energy is take your focus off of him and put it on yourself and your own life where it belongs. Something I always say. I talk about that a lot in so many of my videos. It's really important because a lot of women think they're leaning back into their feminine energy, but they're actually not. They're actually leaning forward very much mentally by constantly thinking about this man, even if he's not right in front of her or contacting her or obsessing about him or analyzing what may have gone wrong. And all of that energy, it's mental energy, but it's still energy, can often keep a man at arm's length. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but as a man, can you kind of just sense when a woman has been obsessing about you or strategizing, trying to do things to get your attention back?
Men want a woman who is independent, a woman who has her own life, who has a full life. And if a man feels like she's giving up everything just to have an opportunity to hang out with him, then it feels like she doesn't have very much value. She doesn't have very much going on. And it loses, the attractiveness just goes down tremendously. Women feel worried about looking like they're being selfish or they're not being thoughtful. And the problem is that you've been too thoughtful, too selfless, and so it's time to focus more on you. And when you do that, your level of attraction just rises automatically. Most of the time, if a person loves you, if the person's interested in you or wants to keep you, once you do that, you're going to wake him up and things are going to change like you won't believe.
That's so true. Yeah, a woman who truly knows her value deep down is not going to just wait around and accept crumbs from a man, right? And a man can feel it. If a man gets the sense that, you're just going to wait around forever for him and he can take all the time he wants and you'll just be there waiting whenever he decides he wants to come back, there's nothing to compel him to come back towards you or to keep coming closer to you, right?
Right. Absolutely.
It's so important. So yeah, if a man is not right in front of you right now, or if he's not calling or texting you or trying to set up plans with you, I always say, what is right in front of you, right? There's a whole world right in front of you. So you want to reconnect with your own life and do something to take your focus off of this man right now. Often that's when you hear from him. I've just heard that over and over. Probably every week I get an email from a client or a comment on one of my YouTube videos where someone says, the second I forgot about this man, that's when he called, right? That's when he texted me. And it kind of feels like magic, but it's really not. It's just the way it works. It's an energetic thing. When a man feels like, oh, where is she, right? He feels that focus being pulled off of him. And again, it's not a game and it's not some sort of strategy or manipulation tactic. It's totally authentic.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I got this correctly. So the third step is to take the focus off of him and put it more onto yourself. So in terms of a feminine versus masculine energy type of perspective, what does that look like?
So that could be anything, and it's really different for every woman. But I always say, make a list of, 10 to 20 things that would totally absorb your time and energy and attention. Anything where time can go by and you don't even realize it. It could be something really simple that you could do at a moment's notice, like editing photos on your phone, or calling up a friend and going outside for a hike, or going to a yoga class. Sometimes physical things can really help get that energy out. It could be something creative, like working on a painting or an art project, or something around your house, like cleaning out a drawer or organizing your closet. Something that just feels good to you when you do it, that's gonna take your mind off of this man right now and put that focus on yourself and your own life where it belongs. What that does is it creates the space energetically for that man to come back towards you, if he's the right man for you. Taking your focus off of a man and putting it on yourself also looks like connecting to your own heart and your own emotions. One of the most feminine energy things you could possibly do, right? This also includes connecting to your heart and your own feelings and emotions. One of the most feminine energy things you can do, right? Because a lot of times we do all of these things that push men away because we're trying to cover up feelings. For example, if a man's been pulling away a little bit or not contacting us as much, we might start to feel anxious or insecure. And so rather than feeling those unpleasant feelings, we lean forward and we try to make something happen with action to solve those feelings for us, right? Feeling those things is fantastic. You just don't want to act out of those feelings because really you're stuffing them down and trying to not feel them.
Right. And I think that too many times when people are feeling, pain of perhaps feeling like they're getting rejected or they're going to lose someone, it causes them to do some, pretty drastic things that have a counterproductive effect. I mean, it just doesn't work out for them. So it's okay. When you're feeling those things, I mean, we've all felt it, and that's okay. It's okay to embrace that because that that's not how you're supposed to be feeling. And so recognizing that is also a good way of reminding you that you deserve more, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times when we're actually connected to our own desires for a great relationship with a man who is putting in as much effort as we are, the first thing that happens is our perception clears up, right? And we can really see this man in this situation for what it really is. That's one of the first things that happens when a woman starts leaning back and connecting to her feminine energy. Her intuition kicks in, right? And she can really feel and intuit, is this the right situation for me? Or does something about this not feel good? And do I need to take a step back and reevaluate?
So as I'm listening to Helena talk about these things, I know how well these things will work for people. So tell us, have you had people that, decided to give these ideas a shot? What happens?
That's such a great question. Yes, I'm so glad you asked. I hear from women every day. Literally, I see it in the comment sections of some of my videos on my YouTube channel. I have an amazing community of really intelligent women over there, and they give me feedback every day that this really works, and it works pretty quickly too. And not only that, it just feels better because it doesn't go against their nature as a woman. It works with the way their brains are wired and the way a man's brain is wired. So this can just really start to flow a lot more easily and effortlessly.
And the thing that I can't help, my head keeps going back to this. It's all about loving yourself. It's all about putting, not in a selfish way, not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that, if you didn't have such a big heart, you probably wouldn't be in the situation to begin with. But because you have been so giving and so leaning forward to try to fix something or to try to develop the relationship the way that it was in the beginning or the way that you think it should be, you're giving so much of this. And so it's just a matter of, you know, stepping back a little bit and focusing more on yourself. It's I think, a beautiful thing. I love these ideas, and that's why I wanted to do this video and talk about these particular topics, because I know it's something that works, and it works for the right reasons.
Yes, absolutely. So happy to share. Yeah.
Thank you. So check out her channel, Helena Hart. The link will be in the description, and you know, check out her video. She really has a great community of people. Like you get so many comments, and so many people are so. Because that's something that I think is really important when you have this community of people that, you know, start to share in the comments and start talking and supporting each other. It's a beautiful thing. I love that about what your channel is.
Oh yeah, I learn just as much from the amazing women in my community as they learn from me, because they give me feedback on what works and what they're struggling with, and it really helps me. I really get ideas for my new videos from you guys, right? From everyone watching and letting me know how all of this works for them. So yes, I'd love to have everyone check out my channel if you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much. This was really fun.
You're welcome. Now we're going to go hop on her channel and do one. All right, see you in the next video.